What's going on, fam? It's the entertainer, the motivator, the educator, Lucky Murray. I'm back with a special CHH today, a Tuesday one. I usually don't drop on Tuesday, but hey, Christian hip hop has so much news, so much to talk about that I am taking a break from my busy schedule, people, to bring to you some breaking news. So apparently, WHATUPRG just dropped his Raul album, and it's been getting very mixed emotion. You know, some people in the Twitter world, it's like, hey, this is transitioning culture. Like, the stuff he talk about is deep. I understand that, because people, WHATUPRG is, hey, his Pleasant Hill album, I say this Pleasant Hill album was okay, to say the least. I don't necessarily thought that was a world changer, but he dropped Raul. It had maybe 2 records that I really did like. I really did felt 4 in the morning. I thought that was a really dope album, and I thought Swish. I like Swish too. Those are the 2 records that I like. But here's a problem, because as soon as he dropped the album, a lot of people like, yo, WHATUPRG? Sounds like you're talking more about illegal immigration than you are rapping. Because if you don't know the undertone of the album, it just talks about how his dad got deported and how he felt about that, which is cool. It's cool with me. I hope it's cool with you. But I'm explaining a little bit about WHATUPRG and why I think that it's a little bit misleading, the rhetoric that he's trying to pull on this album. So I'm gonna let WHATUPRG speak a little bit, and I'm gonna come back with my opinion, man.
Ever since then, everything I kind of had to be the man of the house at like 16. I couldn't cry in front of my mom because my mom had to be strong. I couldn't cry in front of my brother. He's looking up to me. He wants to be just like me. Going to church and people like, I can't believe how strong you are or whatever. And in my head, I'm like, oh man, I'm not. You just don't know. And so it was that balance of like, I can't live up to this expectation of what they think I am.
He had to be the man of the house at 16. And how that affected him, I thought that was a very touching just tribute. I thought it was a very vulnerable place. So I am not questioning the fact that I don't believe that he was actually telling the truth. I think it was. But here's the issue, people. Here's what WHATUPRG says just right here. He just came out and said it. You know, he was talking about immigration, and he is affected by immigration because his dad was taken. But in this climate, in this social climate right now, it is hyper sensitive because of the blowing up of the whole immigrants, the whole wall that Donald Trump is trying to build. Everything is hyper sensitive right now. And to come out with this album, to come out with this rhetoric, to come out with this statement could be very misleading, because guys, if you don't know, WHATUPRG signed with Reach Records since 2000. I think he signed last year. I think last year or the end of this year. I don't remember, but it's going on 2 years. He signed at 21, so he's around 22, 23. He said that in the video he had to be the man of the house at 16 years old. So for me, that indicates that his dad was taken away around that time when he was 16. So here's what WHATUPRG said. He says, y'all are more concerned about a red hat than families being split apart. But hey, go off, America. It brings up an interesting fact, because he uses the red hat to symbolize that, hey, this is the person, our common enemy is Donald Trump. And guys, I'm not sitting here saying that Donald Trump doesn't have his issue. Our president doesn't have any issues. But you make this issue sound like, hey, look, this is a black and white situation, like Donald Trump, red hat. That is the reason why my dad got deported. And if you look up the lyrics of his song 4 a.m., and I'm gonna play him real quick, because I just think that the issue, here's the issue he's painting. And 4 a.m. is probably one of his best songs on there. But here's why I think this is a problem. So we're gonna pull up the lyrics, and not all of the lyrics, but it says, whole house shook when the cops knocked. Whole house shook when the cops knocked. 4 a.m. if they want pops. 4 a.m. if they want pops. Daddy turned around, said farewell. Mama crying on the stairwell. Little brother go look out the window, huh? Why daddy got a handcuffs on him? he ain't do nothing. He ain't never did nothing. All he ever did was work for his children, pay the rent, a little income. Why they gotta take him? Why they gotta break us? Very passionate lyrics. I may add, like I said, I'm not saying that the passion is there. I agree, and I believe the passion is there. But he also makes this statement right here. He says in this statement, in the song also, he says, because half the pastors in America don't want my family in America, and even Jesus was an immigrant, but don't nobody seem to give a, and then ... So, and even he had Jay Monty. Jay Monty was defending him. He was saying, like, look, get on my timeline, talk about how What Up RG's father deserved to be deported, and knowing the suffering his family has endured from the separation. With Christian, I don't know that word, in your bio, I'm a believer. I'm also a South Atlanta native. Don't tweet tough, pull up. I love it when Christian hip hop artists or anybody in general, you know, starts talking tough. You know, like, yo, pull up on me. And I can see his heart. I'm not saying Jay Monty is like, hey, he's trying to be fake. No, I think he's sincerely real about that. But here's the issue that I have a problem with as far as What Up RG. You have to be careful about painting this issue. I think that he just dropped the video. This is You're Not Alone. He dropped the little documentary, but he dropped it too late. I think that he should have been telling the story maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks before the album started. I think he should did a press run where he went around and sold the story of, hey, how this affected him. All of What Up RG music, from what I've heard, the popular stuff now, I'm not a What Up RG like fanboy where I know every What Up RG song, but the songs that are pretty much popular, had nothing to do with deportation, none of it had anything to do with the issues, family being separated. Even on Pleasant Hill, it was all fun and games. You know, he's Little Holy. You know, all these incomplete songs. Like, I didn't see the issue of that. But then when you put out a record 4 a.m. and try to tie into the red mega hats and the Donald Trump and try to make it seem like, oh, well, this is an issue. It is an issue, don't get me wrong. But try to make it seem like this is a current issue that you're faced because of what the people feeling now. That was a Barack Obama issue that your dad got deported when deportation wasn't even in the news like that back when you were 16 years old. So you have to understand this. Here's my thing. And you may like my opinion, you may not. What Up RG may see this and he may not like what I gotta say. I really don't care. You know, I don't work for anybody. I'm on my own platform. These are my words, these are my opinion. I think that you have to walk a fine line when it comes to politics, because immigration is a politic issue, and trying to be an artist. You cannot make one song and expect people to feel what you're saying off of one song. Dude, give us an interview. You should have gave us this last week. Now, I improvise with it, even though I think What Up RG is a little bit all over the place in the documentary. Please watch the documentary. It'll be in the card somewhere right here. I believe he's all over the place, but I also feel like it's a little misleading. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, now it's a real issue. With something that deep and that heavy, don't put in just a song and expect, oh, everybody should know my heart because I'm What Up. No, nobody knows. Like, again, I do not understand or can relate to being an illegal immigrant and having my father being taken from this country because he stayed here illegally. But there's two sides to every story. You cannot paint it with the wide brush. I would love to see What Up RG, you know, in talks with immigration and just immigration issues, and he's at the floor level versus just making one song. Like, my question is, what are you doing outside of this song? Outside of, yo, this is how it made me feel. I get that, but what are you doing to make it better for people that are here illegally to get their citizenships? What is your voice versus just making one song on a EP that's only 14 minutes long? So that's my opinion. I felt like he should have done this a week ago. I felt like this was poor planning on Reach Records' part with the album, because it was a very much improvement from Pleasant Hill. But today we're not talking about how dope the album is. We're talking about an issue of immigration and what Up RG meant as far as the particular subject, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say, people, because I can ramble on and on and on and on. But I found that was very interesting, the fact that, hey, look, he put the song out in 2019, it's about 4 a.m., but you were suffering from it since 16. That will put you 16, let's say 16, 21, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, that's 6 years ago. President Obama been president since 3 years ago, so 6 years ago, 19, 18, 17, it was 2013, around that time when your dad got took. Yeah, bro. And none of your songs reflected that, so I don't know. I'm just the man behind the microphone. Please let me know what you got to think. Please comment below. Also, please check out the Yes Sir t-shirts. I don't know if you can see it. Yes Sir. It's at